The Mind Brothers by Peter Heath. The three books referred to as the Mind Brothers trilogy are something of an enigma to me. 4 months ago, I reviewed the second book in this alleged trilogy. It was called Assassins from Tomorrow. Listen to that review if you want a glimpse into the many questions that rose in my mind as I read it. One of the things that grabbed my attention was that Assassins from Tomorrow, ostensibly the second in the series, had a number 1 printed on its spine. This book, the first in the series, has a 0 on the spine. Why? I'm sure I'll never know the answer to that question. In 1967, when Lancer Books first published The Mind Brothers, espionage novels were selling like hotcakes, and SF from the pulp era was making a resurgence as paperback books. No doubt the editors at Lancer thought an SF spy novel had potential. The Mind Brothers introduces a member of the Rand Corporation think tank named Jason Starr. Starr has created a technological mind control method and is sent to Vietnam to test it on the unwitting members of a village. The plane carrying Starr is shot down, and his invention is confiscated by Chinese soldiers. Fortunately for Starr, a man from something like 50,000 years in the future named Adam Cyber travels back to that moment and saves him from dying. This Adam Cyber wants to keep the Chinese from utilizing Jason's mind control tech and thereby alter the future of planet Earth. So far, so good. Nothing we haven't seen before, but it shows promise. There is ample opportunity for an interesting story to evolve here. What follows is largely a spy action story in which Jason Starr takes the lead every step of the way, and Adam Cyber, with his superior intellect and abilities, becomes this sort of quiet sidekick. Could it be that Lancer had purchased a straight-up spy novel and hired Peter Heath to rewrite it to include science fiction elements? I wouldn't be surprised. The man from the future aspect of the novel is definitely underutilized. There is one very memorable scene in which Adam Cyber communicates telepathically with a Bengal tiger and an enormous elephant and weaponizes these animals against a laboratory full of Chinese henchmen and a wicked Nazi named Krupp. Elsewhere, Starr bumbles along through the adventure as any normal human being would do when opposing a worldwide system of undercover evildoers. Too often, I found myself asking, what's Adam Cyber doing while all of this is going on? I haven't read extensively in the spy novel subgenre of the 60s, but I have read enough to know that The Mind Brothers is no better or worse than most of what was hastily produced and placed on bookstands all across America at the time. Series like The Executioner and Mac Bolan come to mind. This was easy entertainment for a not particularly thoughtful, mostly male readership with a hankering for adventure. The edition of this book that I own was obviously a reprint put out sometime after its initial release. The Lancer books generally sold for 60 cents each in 1967. As you can see, this copy, though it has the original cover art, is priced at $1.50. That price for a paperback novel was unheard of in 1967. I'm guessing this was put out in the late 70s or early 80s. The copyright is listed as 1967 by Lancer Books, but at the bottom of the page, the name and address of Prestige Books appears. On the back cover, this is identified as a Magnum book. What does all this mean? Your guess is as good as mine. I suppose the Lancer titles were purchased for a pittance by Prestige Books and reissued into retail chains across the country. The name Magnum was probably just an appealing merchandising touch. Okay, so The Mind Brothers gets a C minus as a science fiction novel, but a B as a spy novel. The second book is confusing because it deals with the JFK assassination, which occurred before the timeline of this first novel. Unless I missed something, no explanation was made for the character's time hopping. Also, as underused as Adam Cyber was in this first book, he appears even less often in the second one. I haven't read the third installment, but I hear Adam Cyber is not even mentioned. So, Mind Brothers? No. Trilogy? No. I think this publisher, who was putting out many public domain titles at the time, paid poor Peter Heath a couple of bucks, and Heath gave this so-called trilogy the degree of attention his pathetic paycheck warranted. The men who founded Lancer Books had earned their publishing chops at Ace Books under Aaron Wynn. Ace made a lot of money and established a lot of trends in the paperback book market. Lancer Books and Daw SF were both companies started by former Ace employees. Daw did a better job of establishing a credible corporate image and stayed in business several years longer than Lancer. Armand Weston did this fairly appealing cover art. Lancer Books utilized legendary cover art icon Frank Frazetta frequently, cashing in on those folks who actually do judge a book by its cover. This art isn't as good as Frazetta's work, but I actually kind of like it. It's better than this novel deserves. One of the things I like about these old paperbacks is I often find clues as to the journey the book has taken on its way into my hands. This stamp inside the cover tells me my book was once on the shelf of a now defunct used bookstore in Midwest City, Oklahoma. The Mind Brothers by Peter Heath. Proceed with caution. If you like what you're finding here, please like, subscribe, and comment.